Back to At Your Service. This is a continuous live stream with people who are seasoned service-based business owners. This is one of my favorite interviews so far with someone who has a very niche company and an even and just a very bright and very interesting and just an awesome personality. Justin, welcome to the interview.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So why don't you give us an overview of who you are and what you do?
I'm Justin David. Primarily right now, I do custom aquariums and ponds. So we design, install, and maintain aquariums and ponds for offices and homes. We service from Montauk to Manhattan to Rockland County to New Jersey.
Nice.
And we do everything aquarium and pond related, whether it's a new install, whether the client's moving, anything aquarium or pond related we can handle.
Nice. And how did you, because you don't hear a lot of people that are in the fish tank business, what kind of sparked the interest behind pursuing that?
So I've always had aquariums growing up.
Nice.
In my room, I always, smaller, bigger, and moved it to the basement.
Wow.
And then I really wanted like a large aquarium, and I couldn't fit it down the stairs. So there was a tough angle going down the stairs. So I ended up building a pond in the basement, and I cared for that for a while, and then I went away to school, and then I was back. I had aquariums in college. Also, I got in trouble for having it in my dorm. I was over the 10-gallon limit. And then I was at Petco one time, and there was someone seeking advice from the employee, and they were being misled. I don't think purposely. And I went up to them afterwards and said, "Hey, listen, that's not the best way to do it. I think you should do it like this." And they were like, "Hey, can you help me?"
That's awesome.
So I went there to their house, and I think I made $30, which was cool. And that's basically how it started.
That's awesome. And how old were you when that happened?
Oh, I'm so bad with.
What year was it?
That's even worse for me. I was probably. I started this company when I was 19.
Wow.
Believe it or not, that experience happened probably when I was about 17. I was driving at the time. I would say I was around 17.
Interesting. That's pretty incredible. Yeah, no, it's always interesting how certain experiences lead you to do what you do, and just being in Petco and seeing that person and hearing what the employee said just led you down an incredible path, which I think is amazing. And then also wanted to ask, ultimately, what do you enjoy about what you do?
I like there's a few aspects to it, and I basically wear a lot of hats here. I really enjoy the actual design and planning of the more intricate aquarium systems. They're often we're so often doing projects that take 6 months to a year, whether it's the planning or between the planning and waiting on the special components to come in, and to see those come together and to see the homeowner or the business reaction to it is great. I love the before and afters. Like, we're often doing projects where we're called in mid-construction or pre-construction, and to be integrated into the space from the beginning is awesome. We have I have so many relationships with clients that when I first started out, I never envisioned that we would be so involved in people's lives. It sounds weird to say at this point. I think this is the first time I'm ever saying it, but like we we're in their homes like once a week, once every 2 weeks, and we form relationships where it actually becomes personable between uh, the technicians and myself and the clients, and I enjoy that. And then I also enjoy running the business. You know, logistics and putting things together and problem solving um, are all things that I like to do. I like a challenge.
Definitely. Yeah, no, that's I think that's a great aspect to what you do, forming relationships with your clients, that it's not very transactional. I think that's an awesome aspect to it. And you said something interesting, which kind of leads me into my next question. And you used the word challenge. So, what were some challenges that you had early on, and how did you, overcome them?
Well, for for each day we've been in business, there are new challenges that
Yeah,
that come about. But I mean, earlier on, it was I think it was getting clients to work with. Um, Very quickly, though, it became managing those clients
for sure.
growing problems more than than the actual lack of people to work with. Um, I A few years ago, I was thinking like when I first started out, I in my mind I thought that you know most businesses could fail because they don't have the revenue coming in. But in from what I found, it was we could I could very quickly fail by not being able to keep up with the growing um, demand and scaling properly.
Right.
Um, so I think that being able to keep up with it with growth without overextending yourself and spending um, is one of the challenges for sure. And that challenge isn't over. It's easier now, but it certainly isn't over. Um, and I know you're going to ask how we overcame that.
Yeah.
Um, and one of the things I would say, one of the biggest things that I did was implement a proper CRM that manages, scheduling and everything like that. That is huge. Um, yeah, that was big. That was big for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we um, met up a few weeks ago, you had just mentioned that you hired an assistant. Has that been helpful?
No, I fired her.
Okay, got it. It didn't work out.
Yeah, um, it could have been, um, but that's something that I'm looking to do.
Got it.
So, if
Got it.
people
Got
are
it.
watching this and you're looking for a job at an aquarium and pond service company, uh, give us a call.
Reach out for sure. And no, that's hiring and firing people. That's all a part of the process of growing for a lot of businesses. You're not exempt from that. And yeah, it's shitty when it happens, but you just have to keep on pursuing
Yep.
your dream, obviously. Um, and then it seems, at least from my perspective, I don't know what your take is, but you're in a very niche, uh, a very niche business. Do you have you seen any other competitors? And if so, what makes you sort of stand out from everybody else?
Absolutely. There are absolutely other companies that are in the same field as us. Um, what makes us stand out? I We've put together a proper working environment here. Um, I know a lot of other companies are operating out of their homes or garages, and it's not conducive for a good working environment for the employees showing up, and it's also not conducive to a best overall finished product for the client. We have the infrastructure here to support most any project that can come our way. I invest in our employees, with benefits and health insurance and things like that. And as far as the product or the service or both that we provide to our clients that makes us stand out, this ties into partially the relationships that we've built with the clients. It's where a lot of them trust us with their homes, their keys, and the codes to their homes and businesses. And there's other ways that they trust us on a regular basis, and it's awesome. And the quality of work that we do is high. We leave no T's uncrossed and no I's dotted. I'm in communication with the technicians, they're in communication with me. We're both in communication with the client, and we all feed off of each other to ensure that everything that's supposed to get done gets done. And we're consistently keeping our aquariums and ponds in the best possible shape that they can be. And when you do that, and you provide a good quality service, you have good relationships with your clients, and you're charging a rate that's fair for the clients but profitable for the company, things tend to work out. And I've noticed that a lot of the calls that we get that the client's not happy with their existing service provider are for a few reasons. One, it's like, hey, they're unreliable. We're extremely reliable. We're very calendar oriented. This ties back to the CRM that I implemented a few years back. We're there when the clients need us, and that's, I think, huge. Like, there have been so many times where we get a phone call from like a client who's relatively happy with their service provider, but they're just not available when they need them. Like, when they're there, they're great, and it could be the opposite. It could be that they're showing up, but they're just doing the bare minimum. And in this industry, there are no official rule book or code like there is in plumbing and HVAC, where an inspector can come in and say, officially as per the rules, this is wrong. Right. It's you're hiring someone, or you're hiring a company, and you're trusting that they're going to do what needs to be done, and that doesn't always happen. And I think that's the biggest thing right there. And when things don't go right, or when there is a problem, we're responsive and we stand behind our work.
Very, very important. Yeah, that is interesting. I never thought about that for certain industries like HVAC, and I kind of think more so to the financial space, like being a mortgage brokerage or being a wealth advisor. But there's certain rules and regulations, and there's certain things that you can look at to judge yourself against your competition, but you don't really see that in a niche space like yours, like in the fish tank space. So that's really interesting. I never thought about that. Yeah, no, it's really cool. So if you weren't in, the fish tank space, what would you be doing instead for your career?
I'll have to get back to you on this one because I'm in the fish tank space.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, no, it's good to be super passionate about what you do, that you have, that you can't think of any other options as to what you would be doing. I think that's awesome. So kind of outside of business, what's something that nobody knows about you?
Brandon.
We can keep it PG.
Oh man, what's something nobody knows about me?
Or lesser known that maybe just your family knows.
I'm here often till like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Really?
Yeah. And I'll show up the next day at the usual time, and no one will have any idea that I was here. I have chickens.
Do you really?
Yeah. I grow vegetables.
You have chickens. Hold on, wait. How many chickens do you have?
We have 6.
Wow. And do you plan to, eat them after, or like what's the purpose of having chickens?
You know what? It's just cool. Like we get fresh eggs every day.
That's yeah,
Um,
that's pretty incredible.
they're it's just I don't know. It's nice. It's nice.
That's pretty cool. We'll have to talk separately about that because I have a few
Yeah.
questions. Um, okay, and then back to your business. So, who is your ideal customer if you had to think about a person?
Our ideal customer would be somebody who wants living art in their home and
Nice.
is whether they know about aquariums or not wouldn't matter. I really like when we get a call from a client who says, "I want an aquarium. I'm not sure where. I'm not sure what. Can you come by?" Happily, and I'll go there and I'll check things out and I'll give them options as to where. And when we decide on where, they say, "Okay, great. I trust you." And
Wow.
I'll work with like their interior designer or not, and we get to put something together and when they give us trust, it's awesome. I think that's a great feeling to do that, and then to pull it off, it's even better. Like when you know that what you did, they're happy with. Um, Ideal customer, someone who's just knows that they want this and trusts us to do our thing. That's ideal for us. But also, like if someone knows what they want, and for whatever reason they would like us to do it, we're happy to do that. Like I like that too. It's so direct. It cuts out the planning. It just leaves really the designing on my end, and we can knock that out of the park as well.
Gotcha. Do you ever work with like an architect? Do they ever bring you in for projects, or is it more so directly to the client?
We do, yeah. We work with. There's a few builders that we work with, a couple architects, um, that'll say,
Nice.
when they spec something out, and they'll call us in, and then we also work with the client directly. And oftentimes, also, it's the client, and then the client gives the architect our information, and then we're communicating with their architect, and that's led to other projects in the past too, which is nice.
That's
Actually, just yesterday, I was collaborating with another aquarium company locally. We were working on a project together in Queens.
nice.
The client saw us and saw them and uh, put us together, and it's been really cool. It's been really cool.
That nice. Well, that's pretty incredible. You don't really hear that too often.
You don't.
And
And
no,
sorry,
no,
one more
go.
thing I just want to add. Um, Oftentimes, like you'll see that companies in the same industry are competing for the similar clientele. So they're and projects get quoted by one company and given to another company to ultimately do the project. And you'll see the estimates from the other companies sometimes go back and forth. And what could easily happen is you grow resentful towards other companies, right? And
Hmm.
you're, oh no, I don't like them, or they do this kind of work. Oh, don't hire them. But what's interesting is that that doesn't really do anything for your bottom line. It
No.
doesn't improve your bottom line. But also, out of anyone on in this world, you're very likely to have the most in common with that other company. I mean, there are a few other companies here that I'm on the island that I'm friendly with, and when we talk, it's sort of relieving for me because I find out that the same struggles that I'm having, they're having as well.
Right.
And not that we necessarily talk about solutions, although sometimes we do, but just to know that you know it's normal or it's not me, or sometimes it is, but um, you know, I think that companies can learn a lot from other companies if they just put their competition aside.
For sure. For sure. I think that's super helpful. Um, Yeah, very, very well said. To be collaborative and not view them as well, they're obviously competition, but there's ways where you could also collaborate with them as well, and kind of mastermind, which is an awesome takeaway. I don't know if I ever asked you this. Do you do commercial spaces as well as homes? And
We do. Yeah,
nice.
we do libraries, nursing homes, doctors' offices,
Oh wow,
any office, large, small. We've
nice.
done. We've worked with museums in the past. Uh, we did a tank for Acura. Yeah,
And is it, would you say it's like a 50-50 split of your business where 50% of your revenue comes from commercial and 50% comes from residential, or is it more heavily weighted in residential?
I think by volume we're doing more residential.
Okay, got it.
Um, and believe it or not, the aquariums are not any more or less extravagant or larger or smaller, whether they're in homes or offices. I mean, every space is completely different. We can cater to the high end, and we also do like more basic setups. There are some companies that focus primarily on higher end, and there are some
Hmm.
companies that are maybe they're not geared for it, or they're not set up for it, or they don't want to do the higher end, and they do the basics. And I'm happy to say that with the team that we have, we can do it all, and we welcome it all.
Definitely, definitely. No, I think that's pretty incredible, Justin. And you know, kind of just out of curiosity, I just thought about this question. And you don't have to name the client or name the customer, but could you give us an idea of like what's the most expensive type of um, fish tank that you've installed?
Sure. Um, we did a large aquarium for a client for their office,
Nice.
and the finished cost to the client. Now this includes our portion of the work, mill work, um, electrical, plumbing, structural engineer, and the contractor to reinforce the floor. The finished cost to the client was around $400,000.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That's pretty incredible. I never thought a fish tank could cost that much money, but there's a lot of work that goes into it. So, and I'm sure it took, weeks, right, or even a month.
This is one of the projects that took probably about 14 months
Oh my gosh!
from client says okay, go ahead, to when it's all said and done. Um,
Wow.
and given granted the majority of that time was spent in the design and planning phase, and then the glass that was used for the aquarium came from Italy, so that took about 8 months in itself.
Wow.
Um, yeah,
Incredible, incredible work. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, you know what? You've been an amazing guest. Where can people go to find you if they want to look you up, if they need to install a fish tank? Where can people go to find you?
I'm right here.
Okay.
So tankmelater.com,
Hmm.
or 516-404-9721. Our Instagram is tankmelater LLC.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Awesome, Jeff. You've been an incredible guest. Is there any closing quote or any last piece of advice or any sort of thought that you wanted to share? If not, that's perfectly okay as well. But figured I'd give you the floor.
Never give up.
Never give up.
And there have been times, but never give up. Push through it. Push
I
through it.
love that. Awesome, Justin. Well, I appreciate you joining, and yeah,